Sharon Kinne's name may not be as widely known as other infamous criminals, but her story is among the most chilling in American history. A wife, a mother, a suspected killer, and a fugitive who vanished off the face of the earth, after evading justice not once, but twice. This isn't just a story about a murder. It's about how someone used charm, manipulation, and sheer cunning to play the system, and win. And it all began with a single gunshot in Independence, Missouri. On the night of March 19, 1960, 20-year-old Sharon Kinne called the police to report something unthinkable. Her husband, James Kinne, was dead. When officers arrived at their home in Independence, Missouri, Sharon calmly explained that their 2-year-old daughter, Dana, had accidentally shot him in the head while playing with his loaded .22 caliber pistol. The scene was strange. James lay in bed with a single gunshot wound to the back of the head. The weapon had reportedly been left on a bedside table. According to Sharon, she'd been in another room getting ready for dinner when she heard the shot. She rushed in and found James bleeding, the toddler nearby. Initially, the authorities didn't press too hard. It was tragic, but if a child had pulled the trigger, it could have been a horrific accident. Sharon was composed. Too composed, some would later say. She repeated her story without hesitation, never shedding a tear. And at the time, she was a young mother with no prior record. Her version of events went largely unchallenged. The Jackson County coroner listed the death as accidental, despite some officers expressing quiet doubts. Why had the gun been left loaded and within reach of a toddler? Why was James shot directly in the back of the head? A position inconsistent with a small child pulling the trigger. Those questions gained urgency just weeks later, when new information surfaced that turned the case upside down. Police discovered Sharon had been involved in an ongoing affair with a 23-year-old college student named John Boldes. They had met in early 1960, and according to Boldes, Sharon frequently spoke about leaving her husband, or even hinted at darker intentions. In one chilling admission, she allegedly told him, "I'm working on getting rid of my husband." That statement changed everything. Investigators re-examined the timeline of James's death. Boldes claimed Sharon had tried to call him that very evening, around 5:30 p.m., shortly before James was pronounced dead. Had she been trying to establish an alibi? Or warn him? Or maybe both? The notion that a child could fire a weapon with that kind of accuracy, especially one that required a fair amount of trigger pressure, also came under scrutiny. Experts quietly began to express doubt that a toddler could physically fire the gun at all. By April, the case was officially reopened, and Sharon Kinne was no longer a grieving widow. She was a suspect in what now looked like a calculated murder. Just 2 months after James Kinne's suspicious death, Sharon's name surfaced in yet another chilling crime. On May 26, 1960, the body of Patricia Jones, a 23-year-old mother of 2, was discovered in a remote field near Independence, Missouri. She had been shot 4 times, twice in the head and twice in the chest. Her purse, her watch, and her shoes were neatly placed beside her, as if arranged. Patricia wasn't a stranger. She was the wife of Walter Jones, a car salesman, and another man Sharon had been romantically involved with. In fact, on the very day Patricia disappeared, Sharon had driven her to meet someone under vague pretenses. She claimed Patricia had received a mysterious phone call and needed a ride to meet the caller. When Patricia never returned home, Walter became frantic. After some questioning, Sharon casually mentioned that she had dropped Patricia off but didn't know what happened after. She seemed indifferent, even cold. That alibi fell apart quickly. A local farmer discovered Patricia's body just days later, and police began to untangle Sharon's lies. What truly sealed her fate was ballistics. The bullets retrieved from Patricia's body matched a .22 caliber pistol that Sharon had recently purchased, under her sister's name. The weapon had mysteriously gone missing, according to Sharon, but the evidence was damning. She was arrested and charged with Patricia's murder. But if Sharon Kinne was afraid, she didn't show it. In the courtroom, she was poised and precise, never rattled, never emotional. Her attorneys painted her as a young woman trapped in a world of jealous men and tangled relationships. Her soft-spoken testimony contrasted sharply with the brutality of the crime. Even the prosecution, with forensic evidence in hand, struggled to nail down a clear motive. No witnesses, no fingerprints, no murder weapon recovered. The jury was unconvinced. In January 1962, Sharon was acquitted of Patricia's murder. The courtroom buzzed with disbelief. Just months later, she stood trial for James Kinne's death again, but the jury failed to reach a verdict. A second mistrial followed, and the state declined to pursue a third. Sharon Kinne had now stood trial 3 times for 2 separate murders, and walked away free each time. To the public, it was becoming clear. Sharon wasn't just lucky. She was dangerous, persuasive, and disturbingly composed. After her legal battles in the U.S., Sharon disappeared from the headlines until 1964. This time, she was in Mexico City, and there was another body. She had traveled with a new lover, but while in a hotel room with a Mexican man named Francisco Paredes Ordóñez, things went fatally wrong. Sharon shot him in the back, claiming it was self-defense during an attempted assault. Mexican authorities weren't convinced. She was arrested, and police found a firearm in her purse, the same one tied to the earlier Patricia Jones case. The evidence was damning. Unlike in the U.S., Sharon faced real consequences. She was convicted of murder in Mexico and sentenced to 10 years in prison, but even this wouldn't stop her. In December 1969, Sharon Kinne vanished again, this time from a Mexican prison. Details of the escape are murky. Some say a guard was bribed. Others suspect a lover on the outside orchestrated her disappearance. Regardless of how it happened, one thing was certain. Sharon Kinne was gone. Mexican authorities tried to save face, claiming she had likely fled to Guatemala. The FBI reopened their search. Interpol issued alerts, but she was never found. To this day, there is no confirmed sighting, no arrest, no closure. Sharon Kinne had slipped through the cracks of 2 justice systems and disappeared into legend. Over the decades, numerous theories emerged. Some claimed Sharon underwent plastic surgery and was living in South America. Others believed she was hiding in plain sight in the U.S., perhaps under a new identity. A few conspiracy theorists even suggested she died during the escape, but authorities covered it up. Occasional sightings were reported, but none confirmed. The FBI eventually removed her from their most wanted fugitive list, but the case was never officially closed. What's most chilling is the silence. No known friends, no public statements, no social media trail in an age where even the careful leave digital footprints. It's as if Sharon Kinne simply stopped existing. So how did Sharon Kinne manage to evade justice not once, but 3 times? It wasn't luck. It was intelligence, manipulation, and a ruthless understanding of human nature. She knew when to play victim, when to play innocent, and when to vanish. She killed. She escaped. She outsmarted courts, prisons, and law enforcement. And she did it all with a kind of cold precision that still haunts investigators to this day. The story of Sharon Kinne isn't just a tale of murder. It's a reminder of how fragile justice can be, and how far some people will go to escape it. If this case left you speechless, subscribe to Unlocked Confidential for more untold stories, cold cases, and the darkest corners of criminal history. Who do you think helped Sharon escape? Drop your theory in the comments.